This is the Super Game Boy. This little device made it possible to play original Game Boy games on the big screen. All you did was you popped the Game Boy game in there, you put this into your Super Nintendo, and there you go. While nowadays the ability to play handheld games on a big screen is not that big a deal, at the time it was definitely a pretty big novelty. Nintendo actually had made a similar device for the original Nintendo Entertainment System, but that device, it was called the Wide Boy, was only ever released to the press, and it was basically a means for them to capture high-quality Game Boy screenshots. This device, on the other hand, was not only released to the general public, it also did far more than simply play your game on the TV. For one thing, it allowed you to select a color palette for your normally black and white game, and some games even had preset options pre-programmed on it. You could also select from a wide range of different backgrounds, not to mention there was the ability to sort of doodle on the screens. It was a lot of fun. Some games really went above and beyond, though, and featured things like custom backgrounds. If you ever see a game with this little symbol on the label, or if it's a black Game Boy Color cart, then that means that it's Super Game Boy Enhanced. Donkey Kong 94 is definitely one of the better examples. Not only did it feature a custom background based on the original arcade Donkey Kong, it also featured enhanced voice samples. Enhancements varied from game to game. For example, some games even allowed you to play two players with one cartridge. So yeah, this was a pretty cool little device. Unfortunately, it does feature one kind of major flaw. The Super Nintendo has a different clock speed than the original Game Boy, and they didn't really take that into account. And as a result, certain aspects like in-game timers can sometimes play a little bit faster when played on the Super Game Boy than they would normally. Nintendo would eventually address these issues with a follow-up called the Super Game Boy 2, but that unfortunately was never released outside of Japan. If you enjoy exploring the wonderful world of retro games, please check out my YouTube show, Mike's Retro Curiosities. And for more gaming goodness, check out GameSandwich.com.